Hi everybody, welcome to this new video about collecting on a shoestring budget. By me, your host, Jacobo Garcia, founder and director of the Divide by Zero collection. I know this video has been long overdue. I have to apologize for that. It has been relatively busy summer. Uh, but I really wanted to go back to these videos. I really enjoy doing them. I get really good feedback about it. People do like kind of like the simplicity of the approach, especially when you're explaining abstraction. So yeah, I'm going to make a commitment that I will try to do, if schedules permit, try to do more frequent videos. And as I posted last week on my Instagram, I wanted to do a video about social context and how I approach social context when evaluating a work. When I'm either when I'm looking to acquire a work, or when I'm at a museum, for example, evaluating a work that I see on a wall, or when I go to an exhibition, a gallery of a show, and I see a work that is new, and I try to understand. One of the references that I use is social context, how the work relates socially. Is it describing a social phenomena, or a social trend, or a social issue? And people that are familiar with my approach and my rants that I do very frequently on my Instagram is all about is addressing social development. This particular work is an interesting one because I acquired the work exactly 2 years ago in November 2020, when the price of Bitcoin breached the $20,000 mark. And the work is called Cover 2020 1101, or the 1st of November 2020, by Chinese artist Zhong Wei. And the reason I decided to acquire that work, especially after seeing the events of Bitcoin, when I saw the work, especially like the two elements of the work, right, which is the slime, which is the primary, it's kind of like a very cyberpunk, and the background of the work, the secondary element of the work, and the relation that it has, which is like this kind of like a new digital slime, cynical, which is the elements of cyberpunk, this very cynical slime cover over the established world of finance. Uh, that was quite significant. So the Bitcoin reached $20,000. I certainly took that as a reference that the interpretation, the social interpretation of money was changing, and this was something that was particularly relevant among millennials. When I started researching more about the artist, I found that the artist was certainly oozing out, or letting oozing out an interpretation of his social, his generational understanding of money. Uh, Money in itself is a big social shaper. How societies, being geographical, political, or even generational, the way that these societies and these cultures interact and approach money, it differs from generation, or cluster from cluster to cluster. And that interaction that they have with money shapes in a significant way how society interacts. The fact that the artist is Chinese, uh, and someone, and coming from me, someone that have visited China extensively, is a big factor, right? It was a big factor on my decision, because the transformation of of cash usage, of money usage in China, and the transformation of that money into electronic means by WeChat, or people that have been in China, certainly prior to COVID, and have experienced the difficulties now or the impossibility now that is to pay with cash, will understand, have a better interpretation about the work. So knowing that the artist is from China, that is familiarized, that his generation specifically is undergoing a massive social transformation on its approach and understanding of cash and uses of cash in the country. Uh, and also seeing the problems of 2008 and the abuses that happened in the by the, like the old generation abusing the financial system, which is what led into the financial crisis, and being and having the rise of the cryptocurrency ecosystem gives the artist kind of like all these elements to tell me something that is historically relevant. Yeah. So I do take this work as pretty much like a book. It's a historical record. What the artist is telling me, like me as a Chinese millennial, I understand that my understanding of old money is changing, and this generation is to change it, perhaps in a more in a cynical way by using the compositions of cyberpunk, right? This kind of like electronic slime, kind of like a covering over it, eating the established world of finance. And this is something that I do notice when you discuss with, especially with millennials, about the understanding of money, and when you start elaborating on topics about cryptocurrency and how they see the world how they will see the world in the future, uh, topics about decentralized and distrust of banking of bank and the old dogs and manipulation and so on. These are and distrust. That is a very common topic that comes up, and they do hope that this new technology, which is that digitalization and cryptocurrencies and so on, that transformation of money into the digital realm will improve the perception that people have of their perception that they have with money. So, giving that social context, so giving the transformation of cash in China, the fact that the artist is millennial from China, undergoing the transformation, the background of 2008 and the impact that that had on the millennial generation, and certainly the rise of cryptocurrency in the new world of finance. Uh, all that condensed gave me the the necessary information to decide, yes, I'm going to acquire this work because I think that this work will tell stories down the road. This work is going to tell is a work of the present that is going to tell a story in the future, and therefore that for me is a big benchmark when to assess whether a work is going to retain its value over time. If the work has the capacity to tell stories to the future, I'm super happy to have it. Every time I see it, it inspires me. It inspires me that the world is changing, that the world is going to move forward, and is going to be the new generation that are going to take that baton forward. I mean, certainly, I still consider I'm not necessarily that old, but the Gen X's are already kind of like relegating, and the people that are going to start picking up the pace on writing history, to continue writing history going on, are going to be certainly the millennials and the Gen X's. And this is how they think. This is how they perceive the world of finance today. And that is the reason why I decided to collect it. This is the reason why I treasure it, and this is the reason why is a proud acquisition of the collection. So yeah, I wanted to do this very short video to explain social context in a difficult work. It's abstraction, so it's always difficult, and I do get a lot of these sort of questions when I do my talks at the M Plus about abstraction, that people really struggle on trying to break down a work and try to interpret it, and I always try to give people the like a guideline to not to see work so figuratively, not so linearly, but try to see it more laterally. So try to look at the context, try to go around the work and try to see the elements that surround the work or surround the artist. Try to see what are especially the social elements that surround the artist, and see if you find a relation with uh, with the expression the artist is producing. So if you have a different reading about the work, I'm more than happy to hear it, because I'm very well aware that someone perhaps older or even younger might have a very different interpretation of the work. Uh, as I mentioned earlier, my understanding of money is very different than a Gen Z's understanding of money, which is valid because we grew up in different social contexts. So yeah, more than happy to hear your thoughts about it. I really want to instigate thought when I do these videos. So I'm more than happy to listen to your thoughts. So you can DM me, or if you're in Hong Kong, we can go for a coffee or a beer. And then if you are somewhere in the world, do let me know, and we can perhaps catch up whenever I'm traveling. Otherwise, text me anytime, and we continue the conversation. Okay, cheers. Bye.